I think we're at the point now that it'd be crazy not to have solar. When we decided that we were going to use a commercial company instead of doing it ourselves, which was an option, I did research on SunCommon, because I don't know that I trust lots of solar power companies. And, you know, it's a big project. There's so many things that can go wrong. I wanted a company that I felt good about.
You can make progress by doing the things you love.
If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf, surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. Protest with an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good, and the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben & Jerry's.
Make some mother truckin' change.
The beauty of grass is that you have to look at it as every blade of grass being a solar panel. And that grass is absorbing sun's energy the entire time there's sun out.
Being a small farm, we don't have the scale of cash flows that a lot of larger farms have. So for us to be able to stay in business, it's important that we're able to utilize every one of our spaces as efficiently and as profitably as we can. Our rooftops were something that really hadn't served us any purpose, but now that they can actually produce the amount of electricity that we need to run the farm, it was a no-brainer. Dairy is something that I can firmly stand behind. I believe that it is very nutritious, very good for you, and done right, I believe that it's also good for the environment.
The goal here is net zero, so all of the energy consumed here I want to come from the roof, and I chose SunCommon very specifically. This is just a smarter way to buy energy. All my yard equipment is electric and battery operated. I mean, every morning when I come out now, I look back and I go, yep, that sunlight is falling from the sky and that energy is being put into that car as we speak, which, I don't know, it doesn't get much cooler. Riding on sunshine.
This is the first adaptive-friendly trail network that's being built from design to execution. SunCommon volunteers are here tonight, as well as some new volunteers from all around.
If you make a trail that rides well for an adaptive bike, it's going to ride well for two-wheeled bikes as well.
My name is Greg Durso, and I'm riding the Reactive Adaptations Hammerhead. There's a lot of common misconceptions when it comes to what adaptive or accessible trails are. For us though, when we say accessible, it just means enough room for our bikes to get down it. So we don't want our trails dumbed down, we just want them just a little bit wider, a little bit more attainable for us to use. I'm paralyzed, I'm a T4 paraplegic, so I can't walk. So this bike enables me to get out there and start riding. When I get out of my wheelchair and I get into my bike, I kind of feel like Superman, and I love that feeling. It gets me into places that I can never get into that my wheelchair can't take me.
SunCommon has been an amazing partner in this project. We already surpassed the point that we thought we would reach by the end of the season, and a lot of that's just thanks to SunCommon.
It takes a community, it takes a lot of people to be out there, and you're really doing good for everyone. You're sustaining these trails, making new trails, making mountain biking more accessible for everybody.
Understand what local issues are.
Other credit unions might offer like the VHFA and the Champlain Housing Trust, but it's cool that we have our own product.
It's called home ownership made easier. It essentially gets somebody into a house who does not have a down payment. There's a lot of lenders who are not willing to take a look at the type of transactions that are going in there. But the fact is Vermonters live in those communities.
Hi, I'm Marlena. I work at SunCommon, and we are here today in Worcester on the north branch of the Winooski River, and we are planting 1,122 trees today.
The pandemic has left us spending less time together, and so this is really a good opportunity to connect with old colleagues and meet new people as well. And one of the reasons we're planting trees is because it does sequester carbon. It is about climate action, and so this is just another way that we get to do that work.
Trees are really, really important wildlife habitat in river areas. So this is what we call a riparian forest buffer is what we're creating today. In addition to all the wildlife habitats, this is a really good water quality project to slow down water and let some sediment drop out before it gets to the river. I know that planting this one tree might not do a lot, but when all of us work together, we just planted a whole forest, basically. It's really, really, really cool.
We're filming.
Every second, Vermonters spend $20 with Amazon. That's $20 going to someone you don't know and will never meet. You are just an order number to Amazon. $20 every second. That means every minute, Vermonters are spending $1,100 with Amazon. You might as well throw it in the trash. It's time to change. Let's keep this $1,100 in our Vermont economy. Mighty is an online shopping platform that keeps money in the local community. You order things, it comes from independent retailers nearby, it's dropped to your doorstep. Together, we can change online shopping for good. Visit Mighty, MYTI.com to get started.
Summer has arrived in Burlington. It's the Vermont Green FC home opener taking on Pathfinder FC. Hello, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont. I'm Brian McLaughlin, back with my partner, Matt Montel. Matt, it's so great to be back for year 3 of Vermont Green FC soccer. Another fun season about to begin here at home for this Vermont Green squad. They've already won a couple of matches on the young season. So great to be back with you in the broadcast booth, buddy.
And with the weather as well, the home opener, sometimes it could rain and, it maybe puts a little damper on it. No, sir, the sun is out and we are ready for some ball.
So ready to see this new-look Vermont Green FC squad, again led by manager and sporting director Adam Pfeiffer. Vermont Green FC approaching the gates for their first walkout in front of an expected sellout today. Their green home fans faithfully packing the Virtue Field bleachers. And Matt, exciting times again. I told you they've played 2 matches. They've won 2 matches. This Vermont Green FC team look poised for another battle at the top of the table with perennial favorites Western Massachusetts and Seacoast United, but a great start to the year. They're off to a 2-0 start. They've yet to allow a goal. It's an outstanding, optimistic beginning to the year.
Yeah, and the goals, too, I think something to note is they weren't, worldies or screamers. They were well-worked team goals. They were tap-ins, for lack of a better term. And I think that shows that there's a good gel forming already with this team. That's something that I give a lot of credit to Adam and his staff in past seasons is how quickly he actually gets his team to come together, and it doesn't look so disjointed or anything.
Looking at this season as a whole, it's year 3 now. I want to get your expectations, your just overall feelings and thoughts about where can we expect this group to be. Now they finished 3rd in both year 1 and year 2 in the Northeast Division. They're one of the top 3 teams in theory again in the standings right now. And as we look at the expected, I think, results throughout the year with Western Massachusetts and Seacoast, is there another level that you think we can expect this year? Is it hard to expect that much more from a team that's already accomplished so much?
Well, that's the thing about the expectation, though, is that they set that in the first 2 seasons. And whilst there was a little bit of disappointment towards the end of last season, you and I discussing, off air, a couple of the matches where there was a tie. It was, who was it again that we were talking about? It was 1-1, and that was kind of one of those matches that we looked at where if there was just an extra 5% of quality in front of goal, maybe those points are the difference maker. And I think that's what Adam will look back on with his staff and try to improve upon in this season and say, we need to walk away with 3 more often than settling for a draw potentially. Not that they may have settled, but
that was against this very Pathfinder FC squad. So dropping points against Los Lobos last year, Pathfinder FC, that was down in Pleasant Valley, New York. This year they'll see these Pathfinder opponents twice in the regular season. And Pathfinder, Matt, they're off to an 0-1 start, but that result against, again, one of the powerhouses of this division, Western Massachusetts. I'm very curious what you think exactly the idea of an opponent like this is. A group that year 1, you beat Pathfinder 8-0. It's still the largest result ever in Vermont Green history, but maybe out for some revenge after last year's team were unable to take the full 3 points. Should lead to maybe an interesting dynamic for some of the Green returners who know this Pathfinder squad.
Well, I'm sure they haven't forgotten about that 8-1 result, so that's definitely in the back of their mind. But also, as you mentioned, it's only been 1 match, and it was against kind of the powerhouse of this division. I would say be very cautious about judging that score line and thinking that this might be a cakewalk in some respects. I think you're going to have to respect this opponent. You're going to have to treat it as if it's, maybe you're playing Seacoast and, take it seriously.
Yeah. We're talking a lot of soccer. How about this atmosphere, this environment? You're looking at a different angle this year.
Still coming in.
Across the field, still filing in. Just so many smiles on faces today. I know you're smiling because of Manchester United's success, but there is a lot of joy that this club brings this community. We talk about it every year. Just what has it been like for you today to experience, again, so many of these fans, supporters, co-workers of ours, and volunteers who help make this club so special? It seems like a joyous celebration, and it's only day 1 of the season.
Well, it's funny. My neighbor right across the street flies the flag almost year-round, even through the winter for it. And, as we were starting to get closer towards this home opener, but, the season's starting, started having little chats about new players coming in, who's coming back. We were excited about Bazzini was going to continue again with us. We both were big fans last year of what we saw. But yeah, you start seeing the shirts, you start seeing it's a total different energy in the entire town once all of a sudden it starts getting a little closer. A whole lot more green, and I didn't know we could get greener in Vermont.
Hard to get greener than Vermont Green Football Club. Matt's itching to get you his look and thoughts at Vermont Green starting lineup. Let me run through Pathfinder's starting 11 first of all as we take you inside the visitors. Pathfinder set up in a 4-3-3 with Catalin Nastuda in goal. Christian Bach at right back with the Penn Stater Ben Ofori at center back. Finn Vandenberg is his partner with Matthias Garcia making his first appearance of the year at left back. Ludwig Samuelson on the right side of the midfield trio with Elijah Rhodes, number 6 in the middle, and Nevlin Harper on the left-hand side. Tidouan Fraslin at the right side in the attack with Denise Ribeiro and Diego Rigi on the front of a 4-3-3. So now maybe Matt's favorite part of our whole broadcast. He gets to break down the Vermont Green starting 11. It's a bit of a different formation this year, Matt. 4 at the back, Daniel Pacella in the midfield, the captain, and then 4 in that attacking midfield with Bazzini leading the attack.
Yeah, I found it really interesting that, for 2 seasons we had 4-2-3-1. That was the trademark formation. It kind of changed a little bit. I think I remember like a 4-4-2 once in a while just to kind of pack that in. But, in this formation, things to note is that single pivot playmaker. So Pacella is really going to act as, in American terms, a quarterback. He is going to be the gel between the defense and the attack. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to ever not go long, but he's really going to be very, very involved. He's in the engine room. It also, I think it's worth noting, is that sole striker position, and it's very difficult to play as a sole striker just in any formation really, but in this one especially. You need to kind of tick all the boxes, whether it's dribbling, whether it's heading, whether it's being a playmaker, having vision, and then your finishing has to just probably be at the top, your entire pie chart. And I think Bazzini, at his age and his maturity and experience, he fits that role really well. So, and we're obviously seeing some of the results anyways in the last 2.
Bazzini with 1 goal off the bench last time out in the Green win at Blackrock FC. That was on Wednesday. Bazzini in his Vermont Green career, 7 league goals, 2 league assists. He also scored and assisted in a goal in the U.S. Open Cup, which Vermont Green FC captured the hearts of many throughout this spring. A bit of an upset run through the Nations Cup. It should be really fascinating to see how Bazzini leads this line. But Matt, I want to ask you about the defense as well. You're looking at Adam Pfeiffer and his coaching staff. They brought in a very new look back group. Today they're starting Stuart Drexler in the center back spot along with Reed Fisher. Fisher, the freshman of the year in the Pac-12, but a youngster anchoring that back line along with Drexler. Very different than the likes of Jake Ashford and many of those familiar names we've gotten used to in the back 4 previously.
We're going to miss seeing, Captain Consistent Ashford. But, yeah, like you said, it's a new defense, and I think that also is going to be a big reason of why Pacella is kind of going to be sitting in front of them, and it's really good to have him back. He's a veteran. He's a captain, obviously, and since he's going to have to kind of be that glue in the middle, it's going to be a little bit easier to kind of just come into this new season as new players, to this club itself. And, yeah, I'm really excited to see it. I mean, I trust the scouting that I've seen in the last 2 seasons, so I'm sure we're going to see some quality.
Vermont Green FC taking their squad picture in front of an outstanding atmosphere. Blue skies overhead with some wispy clouds just drifting off in the horizon in these new kind of off-green, alpine green Vermont Green FC kits. What do you think of the uniforms, Matt? They're a bit different than we've seen in previous years.
They're snazzy.
But seeing them in person, I like them, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually seeing them in person, now it's kind of grown on me a little bit more.
Me too.
But I liked last year's kit so much that it was kind of like
hard to argue with the wildflower kit.
Exactly.
It's a legendary one across the soccer nation at this point. But returning focus to today's match. Today, Matt, Vermont Green have a chance to start 3-0 for the first time in club history. A program that's had so much success across 2 seasons would be quite the accomplishment. 9 points across 3 opening matches would be a big deal, and it would move them even with Western Massachusetts at the top of the table.
Yeah, and I think that would honestly, as obvious as it sounds, that's going to give them so much confidence moving forward into the more difficult matches. So this is actually almost just more important than the first two, starting well in those. You can almost have a little bit of growing pains, but now winning this potentially third in a row, that's going to give you, that wind under your wings as you're going forward.
So Zach Zengi preparing to get it underway. Zengi, one of the returners in green, along with Pacella and Yaniv Bazzini. You'll also remember Gabe Threadgold, who is ramping his way down the right-hand side of the back line for VGFC. It will be Zengi, who's working with the Creighton Blue Jay Jackson Castro in his Vermont Green FC debut in the attacking midfield, sitting just below Bazzini. Another 2024 Vermont Green FC season about to begin. In front of the home fans, already off to a 2-0 start. A win on Wednesday against Black Rock FC for the Green. They open their season with a victory over Boston City. They've scored 5. They've yet to allow a goal in front of their home fans for the first time. Zengi gets it underway. This is Reed Fisher, and the crowd up in arms as the Green launch it forward. That's Castro getting his first touch in a Green uniform. A bouncing ball away from Fisher, corralled by Ribeiro of the visitors, Pathfinder. Now turning the corner is Diego Rigi, and it's a free kick in the attacking end for the visitors, Pathfinder. A nervy start for the Green back four.
And it all stemmed from the two center backs. It kind of bounced in an awkward place where neither one kind of took ownership of it.
Looks like it will be Rigi standing over it. He's joined by Christian Bach, who is the right back, but this will be Rigi. 2 in the wall.
It's a good ball.
It's headed over by the center back, Ofori. Ben Ofori, the Penn State Nittany Lion, has started now both games this year for Pathfinder.
It's a perfect place, too, for that service because it's just far out enough that you can get a good amount of whip and, get it over, basically, and then drop into that back post.
Bawa tumbled over in the midfield. Ernest Bawa, the North Carolina Tar Heel, who's headed to Syracuse in the fall, one of 4 would-be Syracuse Orange men. Zengi dispossessed. Elijah Rhodes manning the middle. Castro trying to win it back, and he takes a tumble. And it's a free kick going the way of the Green. Pacella tries the quick restart. Fraslin, the one who's been warned. And again, Pacella gets it underway. This is Stuart Drexler, the Florida Tech center back. Stands at 6'4", an imposing duo. He and Fisher who starred in his freshman year at San Diego State. Flicked by Zengi into space, but handled Ofori. He plays it back to Catalin Nestuda, the starting keeper today for Pathfinder. They're led by Kevin Longacre, the manager.
And right now, if you take kind of a snapshot, if you see basically Pacella and what he has around him, it's going to be difficult because he's got 2 players almost within 10 feet on either side. So he's kind of has to watch where the ball goes primarily, but he has to be extremely aware of the players, the other player on the weaker side potentially, and not actually get caught or drawn in too far. And that's where the center backs need to come in and help as well. One of them steps in a little bit further into the midfield.
It's a lot of responsibility for Pacella, isn't it?
Yeah.
The captain, who is making his 32nd appearance for the Green, the all-time leader in games played as a member of Vermont Green FC. Bazzini lays off for Bawa, and there's Castro into the path of Threadgold. First time towards Zengi, but it's picked off by Garcia. And Garcia roaming forward. There's Pacella out wide. Garcia, a good run, tries to center, but Fisher's there to intervene. A couple of good looks going forward for Pathfinder. They've been quick to go on the advance. They are not looking patient once they get on the ball, right on the attack.
Well, the break is definitely on so far. I mean, it's been kind of a short amount of time, honestly, to see how it's going to play out totally. But so far, you see in attack, you saw there was at least 6 players in attack for Vermont Green FC, but then there's that kind of space or gap, as you could call it, right in the midfield. So if there's a quick transition, then it all of a sudden goes exactly the other way.
First corner of today's match goes the way of Pathfinder after they had a dangerous set piece coming inside the first minute. Now into the 5th minute. They've got their first corner. Trying to test Lute Lilo Portero. He goes by Lute in net for the green. An in-swinger. Portero comes with the punch over the head of Drexler. And now it's handled by Lute.
It's good goalkeeping.
So Portero, he goes by Lute again. He's coming from Omaha. He's transferring to the University of Vermont this fall. Bawa. 1-2 with Bazzini. Bawa skips away from Ofori. It's Bawa. He centers on the way, looking to the back post, but well handled.
It's really good link-up play between him and Bazzini there just to get down the flanks, and then it's a good ball across the box. Just nobody read it.
Carlos Zambrano, the one looming. Zambrano, who's transferring to Syracuse from Daytona State. He's the right winger opposite Bawa on the left. Again, it's Zenge and Castro taking up the middle. At left back, Gerardo Castillo. And Castillo has won it back for the green, but he goes to ground. He's fouled. So Castillo draws a free kick.
And yeah, it's just missing that darting run from the back post just across the 6.
Zenge chooses to play it conservatively back to Pacella. Zenge with Castillo in the 1-2. Castillo, deep cross with his left. That's well over Zambrano's head. But there's some space down this left-hand side. Now we've seen Castillo and Bawa exposing Pathfinder's right flank.
Yeah, we're seeing some good 1-2s already now early in the match. It's a good sign. It shows, a good gel within the team.
Fraslin flicked it on. That's Zambrano who heads it back. This is Sjord Drexler.
You can hear the coaching staff, whether it was Bawa or Zengi, they were looking to switch the field there, but they didn't have anybody wide yet.
Fisher plays it forward. Zambrano's come centrally. He's sandwiched and loses it. Bach, the one who picks it up. Vandenberg forward. Again, the look to break quickly for Pathfinder. This is a team that last year really gave Vermont Green trouble, drawing them 1-1. A game that at the time was late in the season. It was a must-win for the Green, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive a year ago when only the top 2 teams from the Northeast Division qualified for the USL 2 playoffs. Bazzini in a duel. The University of Vermont man, unable to hold it. Pacella awkwardly for Fisher. And Fisher, again a youngster, all the way back to Lute. Fisher looking deep. It's Bazzini on the angling run to the corner. Bazzini, who loves playing in front of these Burlington fans so much, is dropped pass intended for Zambrano, but Zambrano comes in and commits the foul.
It seems like Fisher's going to be potentially the Rolls Royce of the center back partnership. He's a little bit more, physically imposing. He looks a little bit calmer. He moves just a little, not slower, but I can already see like Drexler is actually kind of a little bit more of that, quick speed, athletic center back.
Handled by Ofori. And we might see Musa Ndiaye in that role as well. That trio have rotated at the center back spot through 3 matches. First time Ndiaye's come off the bench. The second start today for both Fisher and Drexler.
Well, if memory serves correct, Adam does a really good job of rotating his team in the last 2 seasons. Everyone gets their time and their shot. And sometimes you see players, they'll start, or play first 4 or 5 matches, and then it'll change later on into the season for, whatever reasons.
Reinforcements often arrive, right? There's a good look at Fisher. And with some words towards Ribeiro, the striker. I think you're going to like yourself some Reed
Fisher.
I'm
already kind of sold on Fisher.
Again, the star from San Diego State was a absolute stud as a freshman, winning the Pac-12 Rookie of the Year honors. Started every match for the Aztecs.
That's impressive.
Threadgolds looking to weave it for Castro. And now Zenge, eyes up. It's Bawa in space. Bawa onto his right. Bawa! First stop of the night. Nastuda the save, and he's able to cover it.
Really good, quick decision-making from Zengi, though. Bawa took a good touch, and good for him to get the shot off, maybe test the keeper a little bit to the left or the right. But Zengi's ball across was perfect.
And Bawa on that right foot. Yeah, he stings the palms there. It's a good stop, though, from Nastuda.
At minimum, you test the keeper.
Nastuda, who plays at Eastern New Mexico, started his career at Oklahoma Panhandle State. And Green quickly back in possession. Zenge to the captain, Pacella.
Great ball.
Castro just got it caught under his feet a bit, but now Threadgolds. Zambrano in traffic, goes to ground and lost it. Back to Christian Bach. And Zambrano, a thunderous tackle.
His feet were in the air.
Ofori does well to nip it from Zenge. And Bach with Pathfinder starting to stream forward. Pathfinder in their opening match of the season against Western Massachusetts allowed 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. They've come out at a much better tempo today. Although the best chances going the way of the green, most impressively Bawa. Ofori plays it back to Nastuda. Good pocket of space. That was Rhodes. And another Zambrano lunging challenge. He's to his feet with the ball. Castro. Too much on it. Looking for the runs of Bazzini and Bawa.
It's the right idea. It was just a little bit flat, the pass, a little too straight, just down. You need that. You need the run to be at an angle, and then for the ball to lead a little bit.
Bazzini leading the press.
And here, right there, is where it gets difficult for Pacella, as you start to see 2, sometimes 3 players all around him, and for him to make, it's difficult to make a good decision at that point on who to mark, because you can get caught ball watching, but you also need to know which space to hold defensively.
Is that going to be on, as a big challenge against Castillo will earn the game's first booking? Titouan Frostlin, the Frenchman, had already been warned, and so he's put in the referee's book just across the 12-minute mark. But is that on the attacking midfield duo, Castro and Zenge, who are sitting in front of Pacella to help out? Is that more on the center backs to be communicating with Pacella? Who's helping him out?
I think it also depends on basically how many players are, say, within the defensive third for Pathfinder when they're on the ball. Have more of them moved up? And as they do, then I do expect, Zengi or Castro to drop in and then create, 2 in the midfield when they're off the ball from it. So and you have to play it kind of like how Pathfinder is looking at that time.
Pacella bursts forward, and again, he frees up Bawa. Bawa battling with Ofori. And Ofori able to shield it out. It's a goal kick earned by Pathfinder. And again, it was Bawa showing some real pace. He mostly came off the bench this season as a North Carolina Tar Heel, scoring 4 times. Did assist in 1 goal across 49 career appearances as a Tar Heel. He scored 10. On the year, the Green have been led by Zenge with a pair of goals. Labovitz, who's available off the bench, has also scored twice, both with 1 assist. Rhodes trying to link up with Ribeiro, but there's Fisher.
Very well done from Fisher.
Bawa looking for a foul. Instead, it's back with Samuelson. Ribeiro, early ball, and it gets by a sliding Threadgold. Picked up by Christian Bach. Zambrano forces him wide. He likes the challenge.
Yeah, it was really good recovery, too. He read it. He knew that basically if Threadgold doesn't actually get that ball, he's the last line of defense there.
Castro. Zambrano working his way forward. Bazzini lurking at the back posts. Pathfinder recover well. Numbers back behind the ball. Drexler not on the same page with Bazzini. You expect some of those moments. It's only 5 days training prior to the very first game. Is now real danger at the back for Pathfinder. But these teams are made up of guys who don't play together all that often. They get limited practice time. It's almost got an all-star team type feel to it many days.
Well, yeah, the amount of time that you have, like when we talk about formations and how theoretically they should play,
right?
It's just that. It's basically theoretical conversation on like, well, this is kind of how the 4-2-3-1 plays. This is the characteristics of a 4-4-2, and in this case, we're talking about the 4-1-4-1. And right now, I think the one that stands out the most is literally that Pacella is just in the middle by himself. Mm-hmm. You're seeing kind of almost a flat front four in front of him, and I would like to see Zengi or Castro kind of drop in a little bit more when they're off the ball, instead of seeing maybe our back four be extremely narrow, instead of, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say basically that Castro can drop in instead of having to sacrifice the shape of the back line.
Zenge unable to move it centrally towards Zambrano. And Green recover it through Pacella. Castillo has Bawa shielding. And he does well to link up with Castillo. Now Bazzini. So far, Ofori has had most of the assignment on Bazzini, and the Nittany Lion is, for the most part, marked the star Green striker well. The Green move it through Threadgold. Fisher whistled and fouled as Ribeiro goes to ground. The crowd doesn't like that challenge.
I think it was a little bit of a foul. if I'm being honest, yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Matt Montel agreeing with a whistle. That doesn't happen often, but Fisher, you could see on
feeling generous.
Could see on that replay. Goes right through the back of the striker, Ribeiro. Ribeiro, the youngster from Porto, Portugal, plays at Garden City Community College, where he scored 4 times in his freshman year. Early ball towards him. Drexler meets it out of the air. And Threadgolds. Ofori wins the duel over Bazzini. Now Zambrano, one-on-one against Garcia. And a free kick going the way of Pathfinder. Zambrano showing some real flair up the right. He's making his first start, was a second-team All-American at the junior college level with Daytona State. So he'll join the Syracuse ranks come August. And a spotlight really on Daniel Pacella. Bawa, he's been dangerous. And no foul called. Bawa goes to ground against Ofori. And Ofori's earned another goal kick, defending Bawa well.
So here, if we look over, you can see Castillo. He's got 2 players basically to mark right now. Now this is where I would rather see Zengi or Bawa even drop into that midfield a little bit more. Now you're starting to see Castro. It looks like he's coming over. That's actually Zambrano starting to come in a little bit more. But right now, Pacella has 2 players to look around.
Even 1-on-3, it looked like at times. Fisher's able to scoop it up. And how about that skill from Zambrano to keep it? Well, this crowd loves a bit of skill, and Zambrano showing them both flair and fury in the early moments. Drexler. Quickly Castillo. Immediately put under pressure, well pressured by Fraslin. Again, he's already been booked inside the opening 20 minutes. Zambrano can't connect inside with Threadgold. And Rhodes stabbing at it alongside Zenge. There's Zenge dropping a little bit deeper and helping.
Yeah, that's that defensive help that I wanted to see a little bit more of.
He has played at times as a holding midfielder, operating often as a number 10. A year ago was Zenge when he starred as a member of the Green, scoring 5 goals.
And also, I just looked at the time, that it's only been 22 minutes in, so you'll start to see it evolve and kind of change throughout the match for it. And what I had noticed was just a little bit lack of that defensive help in the midfield.
Castillo off of Ofori, and the Green have their first corner of the day. Again, danger down this left side between Castillo and Bawa. Castillo already 2 assists in 2 games for the Costa Rican. He also added an assist in the U.S. Open Cup matches back in March. But this will be Zenge, the Georgetown Hoya, to take the corner. The big boys, 6'4" Drexler and 6'3" Fisher, joining Bazzini in the area. And they are crowding that back post. That is the area where Vermont Green had so much success in the U.S. Open Cup from corners. Zenge's looking back there, and it's over the bar. Both Fisher and Drexler contested each other for it.
I was going to say, it kind of looked like Drexler maybe didn't call out for it and asked, Fisher to leave it. Because I felt that Drexler had kind of the better look for it.
Here's a look at it, Matt. Again, this is where Vermont Green have had success, that back post.
Yeah, they both go up for it, and I just feel that Drexler had the best view of it.
Vandenberg, early ball, and numbers streaming forward for Pathfinder. They've got 2 going forward, brought down Fraslin, trying to work it wide, but Castillo puts out the fire.
Times his tackle perfectly, too. Waits for a bad touch.
And Pacella is able to earn a Green throw. That's outstanding work from Castillo, recovering for a scrambling back line. There are some flashes of danger from Pathfinder where it just looked like the Greens' back line just a bit unorganized, right?
They look to break quickly from what I've noticed. They try to do it, within 2, 3, 4 passes at maximum.
Loose touch from Pacella. He gives it away to Ribeiro. And now Fraslin goes to ground around Drexler, earning a free kick.
I'd say that foul was worth it, though, because if he gets that ball across, he's in. He's going through. They call that a professional foul.
Pathfinder are sending their center backs forward here, Matt. They want to put this in the box.
Personally, for me, I wouldn't from here, but...
It is Christian Bach, the left back, coming across to take it. Top spinning ball that Castillo gets to first.
You got to have a lead foot to get there and also kind of have some actual pace on it. It's just easy to defend.
Time for Matias Garcia to bring it down. Mastuda. Nevlin Harper for Samuelson. And now Ofori. Knocked off at Zengi. He's able to poke at Castro. Castro tried to squeeze it through towards Zambrano. Didn't get that pass quite right.
Kind of seemed like he got a little excited. But would rather have seen him actually drive towards goal and test the keeper.
Now Pathfinder working it forward. They've got some space. Fraslin. Fraslin the early ball, and it's left for the keeper, Lute, to come and grab it. And it's a whistle going against Pathfinder as a big collision between Ribeiro and Lute. Actually, that was Rigi and Lute.
Let's take another look at this because I thought Lute got to the ball. So, it's 50-50 almost.
The whistle does go the benefit of
One more look at this. Yeah, it's a tough one for the center ref to make a call on, especially to just call it a foul. Keepers do get a little bit more leniency, too, in those type of collisions.
First bit of pressure and the first call to action for Lute. Again, Pathfinder showing danger when they've been able to get the ball forward. The Green controlling the most of the tempo and possession. Castro has gone wide. Threadgold keeps it nicely. Pacella surrounded. Castro, early ball. Vandenberg deals with it. Pacella earns the throw. Threadgold to take it quickly. Zambrano flicks. And Castro felt two hands to the back. They will not get that whistle near the edge of the area.
Pathfinder are doing a good job of honestly putting 2-3-man right on the ball immediately, very, very quickly. So you really only have, you're going to have to try to play one touch as much as possible. And I respect that, Vermont is trying to actually play in these very difficult, tight spaces for it. But so far, Pathfinder have done a good job defending it.
Castro and company on the press. Harper looking wide, and a big challenge is Garcia. Sends Zambrano rolling in a pinwheeling fashion. This is a good spot for a free kick.
I'm not sure the player that made the tackle is actually injured. It's kind of one of those things where you show that you're injured to try to get a little, leniency from the center.
He definitely came in from behind there, but
I was like,
the big challenge from Garcia on Zambrano. And again, the Green already loading things up at the back post, trying to break the ice. Castillo with his left foot over to look at it. Zenge in the area with the right.
in swinging ball.
Castillo.
Likely going to try to drop that somewhere right between the middle and the back post. Like to see if Fisher can get on the end of this.
Here's Castillo with that left. Right at the keeper, handled by Nestuda. Well, Castillo, teammates in college with Musa Ndiaye. Both of them VCU Rams, as well as Andre Salmaran. They call him Gato. He's available off the bench today, one of 3 VCU players that are active on this side.
I like that name, Gato.
Gato.
That's a good soccer name.
Fun nickname.
Yeah.
He's quite the player as well. He was the A10 Rookie of the Year. So an attacking option that Adam Pfeiffer and his outstanding coaching staff have available. Drexler barely got to that ball on the drop that came from Castro. Bawa might be in. No, Vandenberg closed the space quickly.
That looked like a car crash about to happen.
The big fellow was rampaging over. Castro has the step. Ofori intervenes.
Vermont just starting to get a couple more chances now.
Hasn't been a rapid start, but they're growing into it.
Yeah, exactly. Defensively, too, I think their shape has gotten better as the game has gone on.
Drexler, some English. Castillo licking his chops, whips it in. Awkward ball, and Nestuda is able to handle it.
Do you think Bazzini maybe could have stuck a foot out, just get a foot out there?
Who am I to question the goal scoring?
I know.
Stud that is Yaniv Bazzini. Great ball from Castillo,
Just
though.
here, it kind of looks, he is a little bit farther away than it looks, but.
That's a cultured left boot that Castillo has, though, huh?
Yeah.
There's Drexler winning the ball out of the air. Zenge and Zambrano trying to break.
Good step.
Threadgold, the green returner. And now Bazzini, Threadgold down the wing. Does he have options in the middle? Threadgold to Bawa! No, it's over his head. He ended up empty. The Greens still have it through Castro. Bawa back to his feet. Castro's dancing. He wants his right foot. Castillo will whip in the cross. Zenge rises up. And the flag is actually up on the far side as Nestuda handles it.
Oh, you can see he's holding his head in his hands, Bawa. He wants that one back. He wants another shot at that. No time to dwell on it, though. Got to move on quick.
First look at Threadgold in the attacking end as He put the ball in a beautiful area. Bawa scoreless through a couple of games. He started all three, he and Bazzini.
But again, you're seeing Vermont is starting to put the ball in very dangerous places now within the past couple minutes.
Nestuda has had to be sharp. Not tested on that occasion. Well, now Zenge dances away from Vandenberg, but he can't keep it. Zenge, Matt, we knew he was a potential star when we watched him last summer.
Mm-hmm.
He was coming off his freshman year at Georgetown. Well, this fall, he kind of capitalized on that, starting every game as a Hoya, scoring 5 goals, assisting on 6. Looks like he's going to be another of these regulars for Vermont Green now in his second year with the club.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really good first season for it, and also I've got a soft spot for the Hoyas, so I was just going to assume that he was that good. But yes, he's technically, I know that it's only 1 season under his belt, but that kind of, in the USL too, that sort of makes you a veteran, within that club.
There's no question. That takes a deflection. Fisher knocks it out of play before Lute can come and claim it, so it's another Pathfinder corner. Their second right at the 30-minute mark.
This is a bad idea to say this now, but I have liked what I've seen so far from Fisher and Drexler. They seem solid.
Their first time starting together, so still, I'm sure, growing in their dynamic. Rigi with the right-footed corner. Lute stays put.
Good touch.
Drexler did get a piece there. And it was off Drexler. Bawa unable to chase it down. Another corner for Pathfinder.
I like how much they communicate, too. I see them looking at each other all the time, always talking. That's a good sign of a partnership.
And this time it's Bach with his left. A low zipper that Zenge nods. Pushed wide from Harper. Popped back into the air by Fraslin. Lute's up after it. He's unable to hold it. Falls to Bach, but he's unable to square it cleanly. Still inside the area in a low one that's driven away by Bazzini. Can the green break? It's whipped out towards Zenge. And it's well dealt with by Garcia. Castro and Zenge still trying to break. It is Castro who picks it up. Garcia and Zenge tangled up there. Pacella flips the field nicely.
Elvis is going to come back to that. I'm not sure if we caught that on camera, but there was a little tussle going on between Zenge and that player.
Zambrano weaving. Castro. Bawa now. Bawa chops it back. Whoa! Oh, save made. He caught that viciously with his right. Bawa hammered it off Nestuda, who was positioned well.
Really good play from Bawa. I mean, way to come back mentally, too, after making kind of a big miss from there, but nice little chop.
Blasted it. So Zenge will set up another corner. They're loaded up at the back. The fans urge on the green, looking for their first home goal of the year. Zenge. Another deep one. Fisher back across. Oh, who else? Bazzini! Fisher nodded across, and Bazzini gets the finish. Green in front.
Personally, for me, I would say Fisher is announcing himself to this league and to this team. It's a great assist, really good positioning from it. You've seen him take that spot, whether it's either post, which side that it's coming from. Let's take another look at this.
It's Zenge's ball deep. They love sending him to the back post.
I like that he doesn't go for goal necessarily either. He puts it back across into that mixer.
That's an assist for Reed Fisher.
That is definitely an assist. That's not a mistake.
But who else but Yaniv Bazzini to finish the job? This guy now is his second goal of the season. It's just a goal-scoring machine that the Green have standing in the middle.
So much of being a striker's game is also just knowing where to be. You know, just sniffing out a goal, as they would say.
He does have a nose for it.
He has a nose for it.
Bazzini in the right spot at the right time. His second goal in as many games. And you've said it, Matt. It's felt like these last 5 or 10 minutes, the Green have just picked things up.
Just turning the screw just a little bit.
Samuelson, who's been operating at this right back spot. There's Mr. Fisher. Zenge stays on his feet. Bazzini's able to collect it. A big tackle from Ofori. And the Green will have the throw. Zambrano, Pacella. Oh, I thought he was eyeing one up. Now he chops it through. Castro trying to cut it back. He goes to ground, nothing in it. Garcia, the one who made the challenge. Can Fraslin and company break? This is well worked. Swung wide by Harper, but his pass, a touch behind Rigi.
You're starting to see Zengi now dropping in deeper and deeper when they're off the ball, out of possession, to assist with Pacella in the middle.
Threadgold tackles it, but only as far as Rhodes. There's Zenge doing defensive work. Holds his ground, but unable to win the ball. Bawa trying to escape. He's scampered by Samuelson. He and Bazzini on the run. Ofori timed it perfectly. He's been able to do well against Bazzini, as well as just about anybody can on the Israeli and United States co-international.
Yeah, I think at that point, Bawa needs to put the ball just a little bit further with a little more pace to kind of make it an actual running match versus giving that opportunity for the center back to come in and make the tackle.
Well controlled by Bazzini. There's some of that well-rounded play you speak of, and Fisher, a dime out wide. Zambrano, not that time. But it's turned back over Pacella. And now Castro's found room on the right side. Zambrano cuts it back. Bazzini trying to turn. Bazzini! Side netting.
Thought that was in for a minute.
You expect any time he gets a touch in the area.
Really good touch from there, too, just to give himself a chance. He's under a lot of pressure for it. Can take another look at this. He's got a player on his back, able to get that nice little bounce so he can get the volley off.
Maybe he had a split second more time than he realized. Just reaction. Almost always so crisp inside for Bazzini. Those crosses have given Pathfinder some issues when Bawa or Castillo or Threadgold have gotten in wide areas. But Harper lofts it over the top. Threadgold's in a foot race, is able to beat Bach to it, and he plays Fisher.
Fisher looking for his options wide there. He finds it.
Zambrano. Still Zambrano. 1-2 with Bazzini, but Bazzini spins back into traffic. Now he's won it back. On Drexler's pass in between Bawa and Castillo.
Caught between two minds. Didn't know if he wanted to go to Bawa or...
Another look there. Bazzini's right-footed shot that's wide.
Maybe if it wasn't turf, I don't know. The ball acts different on turf. It bounces a little higher, bounces more often.
Castillo now's gotten tripped up and fouled, and the Green retained possession. Bazzini one time, Zenge surrounded, a burst. Zach Zenge to the byline. Zenge can't get around it, and it's a goal kick. Zenge felt like he got an extra shove from Ofori there. But one of the first looks at Zenge getting some real speed.
Not a foul for me, no.
Zenge felt just that arm on the shoulder as he goes careening into the boundary. And now Nestoro urging everyone forward, but there is a Pathfinder player down ahead of the pack.
Yeah, it's not a good sign, too. I didn't see any impact. I didn't see a tackle or anything. So if you're going down without any contact, I feel like that's muscular.
It is Diego Rigi who is down on the ground, and both teams will use this chance to briefly head to the sideline. The referee doesn't like that, urging everyone back out there. Great look at the fans there a moment ago, Matt. This place is packed once again. How cool is that view?
Oh, look at that. Whole town.
We've been locked into the soccer match. I mean,
I know. I actually honestly hadn't looked up.
We can look up and see all the fans now. This is fun. What a great atmosphere. What a great support base.
We got to get UVM to since they're not going to put the basketball court back here, I guess, build a stand on this side as well. We could fill it.
I think so.
We could double.
I mean, those U.S. Open Cup matches, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Despite sleet, despite cold weathers, there was snow. This place was bumping, and I expect no different this summer.
I am certain we could get 5,000 people in here.
I think so, too. Fraslin working it down the right. Now Bach with the left-footed ball into the middle. There's Drexler, a good jump with the head. And Bawa. Now he's moving. He's been fun darting down this left-hand side. Bazzini. Ofori comes to help out Vandenberg. Castillo. Bazzini. Oh, Diego Castillo. Castillo across. It's Zambrano. No, Castro can't convert.
Oh, just leaning back just a little too much. It's not an awful attempt, but I got to keep your head down on that.
This left-hand side, Castillo and Bawa wreaking havoc.
Yeah,
this time,
take another
Castillo.
look at this. Just a little too much power. You got to pass that in potentially. I'm noticing, though, that Bawa's got a couple different levels of speed. It almost looks like he's not going to beat the player, and then next thing I know, he actually turns it on.
The new green number 10, Bawa, has been fantastic so far in his home debut. I think there's a reason he's been chosen in every starting 11 throughout the early season.
Well, pace alone, but I've noticed he has very good dribbling skills. He's got very, very good technique, but his pace alone is such a threat.
Throw in for the green after Pacella was off balance a touch on Castillo's pass. Ofori and Bawa on the move again. Bawa into the area. Bawa deflected. Back post Castro. He didn't touch it. It's a corner.
I was going to say, it's like, let that go. Let that go.
Pathfinder disagree with the call. They felt there was a touch from the Creighton Blue Jay, Jackson Castro. But it's going to be a green corner. Here's another look. Bawa takes this on himself, and it's deflected.
Yeah, you can see him trying to go to that far post. I think he's trying to go up top bins.
So Castillo works his way across the pitch with that lefty in swinger. The big boys are loaded up. Fisher to Bazzini earlier in the half for the Greens first. Now Castillo looks deep. Drexler. And it's off. Drexler last. It will be a goal kick.
I didn't think Drexler got to that, actually, but
there's a real aerial threat, though, with him and Fisher in the box. Not quite Nate Jones from last year at 6'6", but Drexler, the big body. He was rising above the pack there.
Yeah, I remember when Nate Jones was in there, the type of cross was different. You could almost, like that undercut driven. It's on a rope, versus like these in-swingers or these out-swingers, because they knew that Nate Jones was just so huge that he was going to get his head on it, and he'd put it right down into the box.
What did our PA announcer friend Tom always say? Nate Jones is massive. He's bigger than you. Maybe not quite what the current back line are working with the green, but 6'4", Drexler's still a big man.
I was going to say, Fisher's not exactly tiny.
6'3" and hulking.
Yeah.
Bawa's got Castro in front of him. Puts a hand up in apology. He got it tackled off of him out of bounds. That was Rigi who got a poke. Inside the final minute of this opening half. Two minutes of stoppage time as well, we're hearing word. Is there time for one more green attack? This is Castro on the ball over the top from Castillo. Jackson Castro. He's at the controls. Bawa. Oh, that's nice. Castillo. Across the face of goal. Nobody there to pounce. Another teasing ball from the left-footed left back.
I would say that was the best passing sequence of the first half so far. That was clean. That again, little ball from Bawa.
Bawa and Castillo combining. This is Castro.
Splits the two players.
Oh, gorgeous. Just begging for somebody to get a touch.
And if you can play one touch anywhere in and around the 18, that's generally going to be probably what you like, the amount of time you're going to have. But if you can actually do it clean and actually perform it, you're going to start seeing a lot more chances.
Fisher will get there first before Rigi, and he nods it back for Lute. Lute, who's had a couple of brief moments where he's seen attention. One big challenge that really had him in a collision. Oh, Bazzini. A delightful turn. Has Bawa running through.
Oh.
Still Bawa able to get to it. Zenge. Torpedoes out of trouble. Thread Golds, he can whip it in. That's off of Vandenberg. It will be a green corner.
Time for one more.
Here's a look at Bazzini's just little turn he's got in the midfield. That is some player right there.
It's like a hit a pillow.
He's got 2 goals on the season. Can Bazzini add a first half brace? Again, it's Castillo. Deep towards Bazzini, who goes to ground. Nothing in it. Again, jockeying with Ben Ofori, the 5'10" center back, who has had his hands full. He's been up to the task for the most part. Pathfinder had some early chances. They've been quiet for about 20 minutes or so. As the Green currently in position to start with a full 9 points out of their opening 3 league matches for the first time ever. Still 45 minutes to play, though, in Burlington. It's the Vermont Green FC home opener. Yaniv Bazzini, the lone goal on an assist from Reed Fisher. Vermont Green 1, Pathfinder nothing. We'll step aside. Second half action. When we return, you're watching Vermont Green FC Soccer.
I think we're at the point now that it'd be crazy not to have solar. When we decided that we were going to use a commercial company instead of doing it ourselves, which was an option, I did research on SunCommon. Because I don't know that I trust lots of solar power companies. And, it's a big project. There's so many things that can go wrong. I wanted a company that I felt good about.
You can make progress by doing the things you love.
If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. Protest with an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good, and the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben & Jerry's.
Make some mother truckin' change.
The beauty of grass is that you have to look at it as every blade of grass being a solar panel. And that grass is absorbing sun's energy the entire time there's sun out.
Being a small farm, we don't have the scale of cash flows that a lot of larger farms have. So for us to be able to stay in business, it's important that we're able to utilize every one of our spaces as efficiently and as profitably as we can. Our rooftops were something that really hadn't served us any purpose, but now that they can actually produce the amount of electricity that we need to run the farm, it was a no-brainer. Dairy is something that I can firmly stand behind. I believe that it is very nutritious, very good for you, and done right, I believe that it's also good for the environment.
The goal here is net zero, so all of the energy consumed here I want to come from the roof, and I chose SunCommon very specifically. This is just a smarter way to buy energy. All my yard equipment is electric and battery operated. I mean, every morning when I come out now, I look back and I go, yep, that sunlight is falling from the sky and that energy is being put into that car as we speak, which, I don't know, doesn't get much cooler. Riding on sunshine.
This is the first adaptive friendly trail network that's being built from design to execution. SunCommon volunteers are here tonight, as well as some new volunteers from all around.
If you make a trail that rides well for an adaptive bike, it's going to ride well for two-wheeled bikes as well.
My name is Greg Durso, and I'm riding the Reactive Adaptations Hammerhead. There's a lot of common misconceptions when it comes to what adaptive or accessible trails are. For us though, when we say accessible, it just means enough room for our bikes to get down it. So we don't want our trails dumbed down, we just want them just a little bit wider, a little bit more attainable for us to use. I'm paralyzed, I'm a T4 paraplegic, so I can't walk. So this bike enables me to get out there and start riding. When I get out of my wheelchair and I get into my bike, I kind of feel like Superman. And I love that feeling. It gets me into places that I can never get into that my wheelchair can't take me.
SunCommon has been an amazing partner in this project. We already surpassed the point that we thought we would reach by the end of the season, and a lot of that's just thanks to SunCommon.
It takes a community, it takes a lot of people to be out there, and you're really doing good for everyone. You're sustaining these trails, making new trails, making mountain biking more accessible for everybody.
Understand what local issues are.
Other credit unions might offer like the VHFA and the Champlain Housing Trust, but it's cool that we have our own product.
It's called home ownership made easier. It essentially gets somebody into a house who does not have a down payment. There's a lot of lenders who are not willing to take a look at the type of transactions that are going in there. But the fact is Vermonters live in those communities.
Hi, I'm Marlena. I work at SunCommon, and we are here today in Worcester on the north branch of the Winooski River, and we are planting 1,122 trees today.
The pandemic has left us spending less time together, and so this is really a good opportunity to connect with old colleagues and meet new people as well. And one of the reasons we're planting trees is because it does sequester carbon. It is about climate action, and so this is just another way that we get to do that work.
Trees are really, really important wildlife habitat in river areas. So this is what we call a riparian forest buffer is what we're creating today. In addition to all the wildlife habitats, this is a really good water quality project to slow down water and let some sediment drop out before it gets to the river.
I know that planting this one tree might not do a lot, but when all of us work together, we just planted a whole forest, basically. It's really, really, really cool.
We're filming.
Every second, Vermonters spend 20 bucks with Amazon. That's $20 going to someone you don't know and will never meet. You are just an order number to Amazon. $20 every second. That means every minute, Vermonters are spending $1,100 with Amazon. You might as well throw it in the trash. It's time to change. Let's keep this $1,100 in our Vermont economy. Mighty is an online shopping platform that keeps money in the local community. You order things, it comes from independent retailers nearby, it's dropped to your doorstep. Together, we can change online shopping for good. Visit Mighty, MYTI.com to get started.
A 1-0 lead for Vermont Green FC over Pathfinder FC in the Vermont Green home opener here at halftime. Brian McLaughlin, Matt Montel with you. Matt, we're going to take a look at Vermont Green's opening goal. A solid first half overall. We'll also look at the halftime stats, but just felt like they controlled things and then they score off a corner. Fisher's header back across for Bazzini, and Bazzini able to get on the end of it. His now 8th across league competition. A striker's goal. You said it. He sniffed that one out.
Yeah, and like I said it earlier, it's a lot of a striker's game is knowing where to be and kind of anticipating where the ball's going to be. Yes, you can try to dictate with your runs and how you position yourself for it, but it's that unseen where you can smell it. You know where that ball's about to drop, and I think he knew that Fisher wasn't going to actually go for goal. He's going to put that right in the mixer.
Bazzini, of course, will be the star on the score sheet. Fisher getting the assist. I think you could make an argument he really starred in that half as well, but I know where your eyes were. We talked about it a lot. Daniel Pacella in that midfield. How did you see things evolve throughout that half with who was helping Pacella and where he was able to find some spots?
I think in the first 10, 15 minutes where it looked like Pathfinder were getting more opportunities, they were getting into the final third more often, and it kind of looked a little too open in the midfield for my taste. And then you started to see Zengi start to drop in, and you also started to see Bawa or Zambrano, they would actually cut in a little bit more into the midfield. It started to become a little bit more compact, and then as soon as that started to happen, you started to notice that Pathfinder weren't getting as many opportunities. The only opportunities they could to try to get into the final third was to go wide, to go out to their wide players instead of trying to get that darting ball through the midfield. And then you started to notice it changed a little bit right around the 25 marker. You started to see Vermont turn the screw a little bit. They started getting on the ball more often. They had players closer to each other, and they started to get more opportunities.
Pathfinder trailing 1-0. Adjustments from them. It felt like for moments, like you said, there were spots of danger that they were able to really grow and distribute, especially in the first 15 minutes. How do they get back to that?
For Pathfinder?
For Pathfinder.
I would say,
because it's hard against this Vermont Green side that really can control the tempo and how the game is being played.
I would say what I would look for is their center striker to actually try to drop in a little bit right behind Pacella.
Sure.
And, to give him kind of a headache on what he's marking. It also will drag one of the center backs, whether it's Drexler or Fisher, potentially with them, which creates that gap behind, and then you can start to see those wide players. They can make those diagonal runs in behind from there. So far, we haven't really seen that since Zengi kind of dropped into the midfield, and now he's just congesting everything.
We'll see if there are any halftime changes. As it stands, Vermont Green FC 1, Pathfinder FC nothing. That's our halftime report. About 4 minutes till the start of the second half. We'll be back right here with you with more Vermont Green soccer. Yaniv Bazzini's go-ahead goal has Vermont Green FC leading Pathfinder FC in the Vermont Green home opener, the third ever meeting between Pathfinder and Vermont Green. Brian McLaughlin, Matt Montel with you. Pathfinder making their way out to the pitch to begin half number 2. As a first half that Vermont Green, it felt like the second kind of 30 minutes or the second portion of that opening stanza really controlled things, but it was not a half that lacked danger on the other end. Pathfinder certainly far from out of this game, trailing by only 1 at the break.
Well, no, I think they also, maybe you'll start to see their defenders push up a little bit higher, Pathfinder specifically push up a little bit higher into the attack when they are in the attack. I think they're just maybe the first half was a little bit wary of players like Bawa, and looking at Zambrano, it's like these are very, very rapid players to have to mark. So now that they're down a goal, they have to take a little bit more of a chance. So I'm expecting to see them be a little bit more aggressive in possession.
There are 2 Vermont Green FC changes that sporting director Adam Pfeiffer and his staff have made, and I think, Matt, one of these might indicate a change in formation. Musa Ndiaye out on the pitch. Looks like he is sitting alongside Daniel Pacella, and Saeed Haji will step in as 2 of the Vermont Green wingers, both Zambrano and Bawa, exit. Haji an attacking midfielder, and Ndiaye a central midfielder. Thinking they might go 4-2-3-1 now.
Yeah, I know he wears the number 5, but he does kind of play like an 8 for me in DA, and I do believe that, I'd have to confirm with him, but it's going to be kind of 2 holding midfielders, and DA is going to probably get forward more often than maybe Pacella will, but it's going to give a lot more defensive assurance when they're off the ball.
And it's fun to see Saeed Haji. Haji, the 24-year-old Somalian, played at VCU where he starred. Of course, now the current school of Musa Ndiaye, Castillo, and Gatto. But Haji, Matt, was a star at VCU. In 2019, the number 2 overall pick to the San Jose Earthquakes in the MLS draft. And Haji ended up making 14 appearances in the MLS and now joining Vermont Green in his first stint at USL 2. He's appeared in USL Championship matches, USL 1. This is a guy with a ton of pro experience added to the Green side.
This is going to be exciting.
Haji lining up on this right side with Castro moving wide to the left. Looks like Zengi will run through the middle. It's Pathfinder who put the ball in play. And half number 2 underway with 45 minutes to go in Burlington. Forey continues to stay at the back with Vandenberg. They've got Garcia wide on the left. Bach is the right backer. Castro tried to heel flick it, but it falls kindly into the path of Riggy, the right winger. And you can see Ndiaye already sitting deep, but that goes to Froslin. Froslin unable to weave it by Threadgold. Now it's popped into the middle. Over the head of Fisher. A big punch in the area from Lute. Appeals from the Pathfinder bench for a penalty as Lute unable to get that punch.
I was going to say, Lute might be lucky there isn't VAR in USL 2. That one looked a little on the line for me, but
he came careening out with Fisher also in the area defensively. Again, Pathfinder, when they've been able to get the ball in the box, have just made things difficult on Lute. Threadgold's throw for Pacella. Pretty clearly, Ndiaye is sitting next to Pacella in this base of the midfield.
yeah, it's definitely switched over to a 4-2-3-1 now. You can see the shape just right now, which personally I like, and I saw so much positive about it from last season. I just personally like that insurance that it provides deeper into the midfield in front of your defense.
Ndiaye and Pacella, the 2 captains, working together in the midfield. Ndiaye off the bench for the first time this season. The Senegalese international for Drexler. Castro, Pacella, Lute, Fisher. The Green rolling this ball nicely across their back group. And this is Castillo working up the line. Castro returns it. Outside of the football, Zengit. And here's the first look at Saeed Haji. Haji unable to weave it back, looking for Zengay. Garcia intercepts, but it's deflected. Threadgold. Zengay, the inside track. Samuelson flicks and Garcia bombs away. Oh, it's mishandled by Drexler. Castillo in a foot race. He's got Rigi to handle. There's two on the back post now for Vermont Green to deal with. Rigi unable to get the ball off his foot. Rhodes wide for Bach. And again, Drexler unable to get an authoritative clearance. Rigi blocked in DA. Still Samuelson coming onto it. Pachella nibbling for it. The lefty shot just over the bar. Rigi finally was able to launch one. Some nervy moments from Drexler, unable to handle those balls.
Yeah, kind of uncharacteristic for players at that level. You know, the first one when it was the large clearance and he didn't, I thought he was going to either head it or he was going to chest it, but when you go with your feet, you have to be incredibly good to make sure that the ball dies right in front of you. So if you're not sure of that, then you head the ball or you chest the ball and settle it.
Now Drexler does look long. Bazzini his target. And into the crowd off of Afori. A big block in that sequence for Musa and Dia as well. Just a security blanket, it feels like, having that guy man your middle.
I would feel a lot safer, yeah.
Fisher, one of the stars of the opening half. Trying to send it over the top for Bazzini.
Good win.
Musa and Dia. Haji brings it down from Pachella. Threadgold on the overlap. This Vermont Green side getting older and older. Haji a veteran. You've got Leibovitz off the bench, a veteran. Bazzini a 24-year-old. Pachella a 24-year-old. Just a lot of experience across this lineup.
Do you know offhand, we can look it up later, but what our average age was last season?
I'll have to check. I would imagine
early
it's
20s.
Not quite what this group is.
Right.
Pachella whipping to the back post, but not the right angle for Castro. Plucked out of the air, Nestuda. It just feels like there was a real focus on some of these veteran guys. You've got returners like Threadgold, Zenge, and then the real experienced players, Haji, Bazzini, Pachella. Guys that are all either already with professional experience or expected to explore professional ranks going forward.
It would seem logical from Adam and his staff when they were doing the recruiting and the scouting was, you know, okay, those draws from last season or some of the defeats, you know, maybe he thought that, well, if I have a little more experience in my 11, that those results go in our favor more often.
Castillo able to nip it back for Bazzini. Bazzini trying to run at the defense. And now Haji calmly backwards Threadgold. Well, it is interesting, Matt. I think the focus for Vermont Green, how do we get over the hump of Seacoast United and Western Mass? Of course, you have to handle your business against everybody else. But through 2 seasons with the club, they really have. Against those top 2 sides, they're combined 2-6. Against everybody else, they are 17-1-2. So I think that's got to be your focus. How do we beat Western Massachusetts and Seacoast?
Well, at least one out of the 2. If you can take care of one of them, maybe not both, then you stand a great chance of going into the play.
Oh, it's beautiful. Castro from Bazzini, and it's popped over the bar. Threadgold. Excellent tic-tac-toe passing. Threadgold unable to complete the finished product. But Zenge, Bazzini, Castro to Threadgold. What a work of art that sequence was.
And that's what I want to see more of in like, we can look at this replay here, is that one-touch crisp passing right in and around the 18-yard box. You don't have a lot of time on the ball when you're in that area.
Drexler able to get a piece of that long ball. Castillo hustles and tracks it down. Nobody on the end of his ball forward, though. Well, that was maybe the best sequence of passing we've seen yet, just in and out like that.
Yeah, there was the one in the first half where Bawa had split the 2 players, but other than that, yeah.
Nestuda keeps it on the ground. Vandenberg. That's a heavy touch. Zenge had thoughts of taking it away. I thought Fisher might have handled that, but it falls for Ndie, and Pachella returns it to him. Another big scoring chance just put over the bar by the Green. Zambrano had the look in the first half that he was unable to hit the target with. This time Threadgold. Threadgold not known as a goal scorer. That's just trickling down the right-hand wing for Zenge. He's got Threadgold with him. Haji comes to help out.
I want to see Haji on the ball just a little closer in the 18, because right now what I've noticed is he's keeping it very clean, very neat.
Castro's dancing. Bazzini for Castillo. Castillo wants to cross, hammers it across. It falls for Haji. It was behind Zengi. Saeed Haji, double team. Can he get to the byline? Able to keep it in play. No, he couldn't. Again, Castillo, a laser across the face of goal that was looking for a touch, just never came. Another look at Threadgold's chance here, Matt. What passing this is. It was Zenge, Bazzini, and there's Castro.
The pass from Bazzini I really liked first. That's really what kind of just started that little sequence right there.
Yeah, it unlocked the whole thing.
You know what I realized?
What'd you realize?
I realized Threadgold looks a lot like David Silva.
Interesting.
Take a look, viewers, and you let us know. Does he remind you of David Silva?
As just
like a younger David Silva.
Younger David
Same
Silva.
hair.
Yeah, the hair is
yeah,
where
the
I see
facial
it
hair a little bit.
anything.
Yeah,
just a bit of scruff. The floppy brown hair on top. I see what you're looking at.
Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
Okay. No, this is a safe space.
Yeah,
I want all of your takes. Looks like, plays like, any comparison you're willing to
I was
make.
going to say, not an insult.
No, I'm here for any of those Matt Montel thoughts. Well, Forey, a long ball that's well-angled Fraslin. He's been tough to deal with for Threadgold. And Fraslin off the face of Ndie. But of course, he's in the right spot at the right time.
Love that touch.
What can't Bazzini do with the ball? Castillo and Castro starting again. Fisher spotted the run of Zenge. Vandenberg did well to intercept. It's a green throw. Off of Threadgold last that time. We're getting close-up looks at these battles along the near side this year. There is Threadgold in a bit of a hand fight with Fraslin. The two of them have had a fair share of duels today.
All right, you can see the shape, though, of Vermont. Just within the midfield, you got this insurance between Ndie and Pacella, but they can't necessarily pass directly through the midfield. They have to go wide.
A lot of space here for Riggi. That's a heavy touch, but he continues to run forward. The shot goes wide from Ribeiro. And Diego Riggi, just the space he's finding when they switch the field there. Some thoughts of danger, some reason for some concern.
I don't have the official count on shots, but it does feel like the edge right now is with Pathfinder a little bit.
Especially since halftime.
Yeah, at least numerically they've been getting a lot more chances.
Castro checks to the ball with Castillo. Here's Pacella. Bazzini checking into the midfield. Just shrugs off the challenges.
Just bouncing off him.
Almost was able to weave it through, and Castillo wins it back. Diego Castillo still on his feet. Castillo goes to ground. Free kick on the edge of the area.
Oh, I thought he was going to give the penalty.
It's outside the 18-yard box. How about the effort from Castillo? I've really been impressed.
Yeah, maybe we could take another look and see if that was in the box. It definitely started outside the box. Here we go.
Great effort from Castillo.
And he
keeps
holds
going.
holds his shirt. That's right on the edge.
I think you've got to call that outside the area, but it is close. Both Zenge and Bazzini, I would imagine, have claims for this.
Well, it's going to be interesting if they have something that they've worked on, because right now it's right on the edge. It's going to be really difficult to get up and down over that wall.
It's Zenge who's placing it, but he's still got Bazzini near him. Zenge with a pair of goals on the year. From in tight towards the box. Zach Zenge. Yeah, you said it, Matt. Just unable to get it back down. That was tough.
Yeah, it takes, such a, what do you call it, English on the ball to actually get that spin for it to come down.
There's probably some physics that really explain that
right.
I can't
I just call it English.
Articulate.
Yeah,
English
like in pool.
Yeah. And now Pathfinder will make their first changes. Coming off Samuelson, as well as Harper. And changes include Elijah. Well, Elijah Rhodes stays on. Vandenberg. The center back carries it a long way. It's Castillo who heads it away from Rigi. Haji. Now some time to turn and run. Threadgold leaves for Fisher. And DA relieves the pressure. Threadgold. I love watching
Really
Musa
well
and DA play.
Well, you notice that that diamond. You had Fisher at the base. You had Threadgold out on the right side, and DA on the inside, and then Haji up at top. And it makes it very easy to create these 1-2s in that passing sequence to break it.
Threadgold unable to corral it this time. Garcia. Fisher sticks his nose in and wins it. But a miscommunication with Ndie. They lose it back just outside the reach of Rigi. And it's collected by Lute. Well, Fisher fearless. Almost costly. Seeing and Ndie were unable to fully put their handcuffs on it. Just hasn't felt like Vermont have really been clicking yet. They've got the lead, but not quite at full throttle.
Yeah, I mean, they have one extra body now deeper instead of further forward when it was Zengi and Castro when they were in possession further up in the field. That might be having an effect, if I'm being honest.
Bazzini was looking for a foul along the far side, doesn't get the whistle. It is a green throw-in.
I also think we're kind of seeing a little the difference between Haji and like Bawa, maybe like those types of players out wide. Bawa seem to have like this very dangerous pace and love to run on to the ball. Haji seems more of a very technical player, likes to keep the ball at his feet, likes to dribble and actually beat his man.
Let's see what Threadgold and Haji can create. And DA has to step to it. A bit of class for Pacella. First time for Castillo. Now the Green have numbers forward. Castro finds a pocket. It's Castro still moving. That's his weaker foot. Tried to go with the left. Well, Jackson Castro, Matt, coming off a 2-goal fall for Creighton. He had 6 assists. 2 years ago, when starring alongside Duncan McGuire, he scored 10 goals with 7 assists for Creighton as a sophomore. A really talented player, played alongside, of course, former Green Stars Owen O'Malley, Giorgio Probo, Jake Ashford, Mark O'Neill, and others. He's the next of that Blue Jay pipeline to come here to Vermont.
I'm curious how many chances it generally takes on his average. You know, some players, they'll get a goal every match, but they get 10 chances in their system that they're playing at, wherever they are. And maybe he's just one of those players that if you can give him at least 3 or 4, he'll put one.
Capitalize.
Yeah.
Bazzini, a good touch. Just not enough on it over Vandenberg, who picks it from Haji. And Ofori slides it with Bach. Pathfinder very much still alive. They are after a point today. The only team other than Western Massachusetts or Seacoast to take a point from Vermont Green last year. And here they go again down the left. Fraslin. He's got Garcia wide of him. Instead cuts centrally. Drexler elevates his header back to the midfield where Rhodes is in a battle with Castro. And Castro, well positioned, draws the foul.
You're starting to notice, too, that their wide players are actually checking in towards the center backs to either receive the ball or drag a player from one of Vermont's players, and their fullbacks are now committing into the attack. So they're creating it very wide and then getting in behind.
Drexler does well. Out to Castro. The Greens switch the play through the midfield. Back heel for Castillo. Bazzini's in the middle. Castillo on the prowl. Unable to feed it through for Castro that time. But again, Castillo relentless, wins it back. And now Castro in a dangerous spot down the line. Castillo! Blocked by Vandenberg. It's a corner. Again, Castillo lost the ball for a moment, but he's able to win it back in the green, who scored off an earlier corner, back to the corner flag. This is Castro, who the outside of the football, well covered by Vandenberg.
Yeah, getting closed down real quick. You had to get the shot off.
It's Zenye again to provide service. Fisher and Drexler working to get open at the back post. Bazzini played the role of vulture, snapping home the Fisher header in the opening half. Zenye plays this one to the near post. Looked like he might have been searching for Bazzini, and it's handled well by Elijah Rhodes. One of the replacements, Diogo Stefan. But it's back for Haji. Felt like there wasn't any passes forward. Instead, he played it backwards. Might have had a look there.
Yeah, I felt like he could have one time to Pachella, and that's maybe just something that he needs to improve on throughout this half, is make those decisions before you even get the ball if you can.
Fisher sending Bazzini on the chase. Bazzini wins it because of course he does. Now he's got his defender in a blender. It falls for Threadgold on the half clearance. Bazzini, Zengi saves right into the path of Nestuda.
What a ball and a unique technique to it. I was going to try to say those two words back to back. Unique technique. But he chops it, and you see that backspin.
It's again Bazzini just putting it exactly where he wants. Oh,
yeah.
Zengi, could he have done better there? Is he a bit unlucky that right at the keeper?
I think he just wanted to make sure that he got it on frame, but yes, if maybe next time, or if he has another chance as that, it's like try to go to one side.
Here he goes again. Zengi for Castro. Jackson Castro has numbers. Castro from deep. Well handled. Good hands. Nestuda.
Difficult save, too, when it bounces in front of you just there and it starts to bobble.
Catalin Nestuda has faced some pressure of late.
And, yeah, taking a look at this. It's a good strike. But, again, I'd like to see you kind of maybe test the keeper a little more than that. So far right now, everything's kind of going almost just at him.
And that one gets away from Castro. Now the green will need to flood numbers backwards as Pathfinder on the advance. Ribeiro, he's dropped deeper this half. The number 9 was playing up top throughout much of the first. But Ndie and Pacella free up Castro. And now it's the green on the break. Castillo on the overlap. It's Diego Castillo to the back posts. It took a touch from Vandenberg. That's leaking out of play for a corner. Every time Castillo puts that ball across, Matt, it is just asking for a bit of a redirect.
Yeah, without that touch, though, I'm pretty sure Zengi's getting on the end of that.
That's a great touch from Vandenberg. Great point.
And it's a terrifying one, too, when you're running back towards your goal.
Oh, my God. You get that wrong, it could easily be in the back of your own net.
Exactly.
Well, this is Castillo. And Green have been able to generate real danger off of set pieces, dating back towards the U.S. Open Cup. To the near post. Oh, just wide from Fisher. It's another corner. Took a deflection. So Fisher making the near post run this time.
You can see the assistant manager, Lee, giving instructions to Fisher there. I'm curious what he's telling him. He's going to the back. I wonder if he's asking him to maybe run across or to do the same thing that he did that led to the first goal.
Again, here's Castillo. Vandenberg heads it away from Nestuda. And it is Fisher lurking at the back post to track it down. He's letting it go out for a throw-in. Well, Reed Fisher, I think, already a fan favorite now.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to be a fan favorite now.
The assist, he's pumping up the crowd. He has thrown in some thunderous challenges.
Yeah. Ticks all the boxes.
Oh, Bazzini chests it for Castro, trying to weave it across. Questions for a handball.
Well, no VAR. Not yet.
I'm enjoying that we can hear, I feel like, more of the chants from the Green Mountain Boys.
Yeah.
Sitting across the field this year.
I do miss sitting amongst everyone, but I do like this view.
A shot from distance. That was perhaps a bit hopeful from David Citron. Another goal kick coming for the Green, but they are preparing 2 more changes. It is Jacob Leibovitz, the former Virginia Tech star, with some USL1 experience to his name. The attacker with a pair of goals on the year coming off the bench for the first time. Joined by Sam Layton, a midfielder who's headed to Syracuse in the fall after spending 4 years at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville.
Yeah, I was waiting to see Leibovitz just, coming from kind of my backyard near Virginia Beach, and just an absolute hotbed of soccer. It's saturated with really good players, and it's tough to get recognized down there. So
it is Bazzini, the goal scorer, and the captain, Daniel Pacella, who makes way. Pacella hands off the armband to his co-captain, Musa Ndie. Good shift for both Pacella and Bazzini.
Yep.
Pacella, who started every game this season. Bazzini in his first start of the summer. Now Layton will pair with Ndie in the central midfield, and Leibovitz leads the line up top. Drexler, Castillo. Castro on the advance. He's able to skip away from Ofori. Jackson Castro cuts it back. Here's Zengi. Zach Zengi tried to lay it off for Ndie. He didn't pull the trigger. And it's back for Centrone.
Could he have maybe just taken that one time, let the balls, pace, take care of the power?
Ofori and company under pressure. Yeah, that was my thought as well.
I thought he was going to use the inside of his foot and just let the balls pace, generate all of that and just try to place it.
Again, danger building through Castro and Castillo on the left-hand flank. Zangi handles the throw-in well. Threadgold's. Haji.
That's it.
Scoops it. Threadgold's offside.
I like it, though. I that was what I was kind of waiting for. I hadn't seen just enough yet from Haji, but that's the type of ball I was like, that's class.
Just a bit cheeky, trying to flick it over everybody. Pathfinder still searching for an equalizer. The last 10 or so minutes firmly belonging to the green, but they have yet to double their lead. 3 points would feel oh so sweet in front of their home fans. The green have never started with 9 points in their opening 3 matches. Zenge did well to break up that play forward, but it's out for a Pathfinder throw.
I had missed it. I was watching the back line, just seeing what they're doing, because you've got this one player super out wide. He's not a threat at this moment, but just looking at their shape and how they're going to adjust if they lose the ball.
Now Castro goes to ground, and it will be a green free kick in a dangerous spot. Again, it's likely Zenge to stand over it. This is a chance for Drexler as well as Fisher.
Well, they need to be careful because right now it's 2v1.
And booking. Elijah Rhodes has been shown a card. You know Pathfinder will be quick to break if they're able to win this ball.
Yeah, and I'm not super comfortable right now looking at this 2v2 if Pathfinder can get a hold of the ball quickly.
And it is plucked out of the air by Nestuda.
Yeah, but he's taking his time, so I don't know. I thought he might have tried to go long.
I was thinking he might go for the quick release as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when Pathfinder have been most dangerous clearly today when they're able to break.
Yeah, try to create a 3v2 situation really quickly. It's like, yeah, take your chances.
Trying to play out of the back instead.
You're down one.
And now Leighton commits the foul as he went to ground. I think he slipped into the back of Stefan. Now this one going long from Nestuda. Threadgold first time. Leibovitz plucks it from Vandenberg. Haji plays it through. This is Zenge. Zenge, a neat little nutmeg. Haji. Play slowed for the green. Oh, but it's for Leighton. Leibovitz unable to dance his way by Ofori.
Good sequence of passing, though. I like to see it.
Drexler fouls with Elijah Rhodes chasing. Actually, sorry, that was Ribeiro who commits the foul on Drexler. Another good pass from Ndie. It felt like really opened that sequence up.
Yeah, and what I've noticed and I like about Haji's style is that he tends to, it almost looks terrifying because you're like, oh my God, he's going to lose the ball. But he's actually got so much.
That's a good ball from Haji. Laid off, and it's blocked off of Castro. Leighton brings it down. Again, Haji and Threadgold working well together down this right side.
He's got so much close technical skill that he drags 2 players towards him, but then releases it, and all of a sudden you notice there's more Vermont Green players open, a lot more space around them.
It's a different speed almost that he's playing with.
Exactly. It's like he kind of like sees it a little bit in slow motion.
It's a hard skill to capture.
Yeah. Don't know if you can coach that.
That one's played through. Work to do for Castillo. And the offside flag is up. Going against Diego Rigi. Into the 77th minute. Vermont Green FC in their home opener. Off to a 2-0 start this season, trying to keep pace with Western Massachusetts. Seacoast United also unbeaten in this juggernaut of a Northeast division. Vandenberg wins the ball, but it's brought down Castro. He's coming more centrally. Leighton moving it forward. Castillo wide to his left. Angles it out to him. The Green hunting for a second. They would feel much more comfortable with a 2-goal advantage. Castro starting to find good areas. Castillo Castillo, and Leibovitz doesn't get it right. The one-time left foot volley.
You can see what happened to Zengi. Made the run in, and it looked like he was going to head it, but he didn't. Leibovitz, credit to him, he was kind of anticipating that he was going to head it, and he still tried, but I think that's just kind of, if we take another look, it just takes his eye off a little bit. Right there, just goes over Zengi, and he's got a split second to react.
Did they just announce a sellout? I think that was what the announcement was.
Yeah, I think so.
From the far side.
It looks sold out. I don't see an open seat.
I don't see many either.
Yeah.
Ofori wants to play it deep.
Yep, just confirmed. We are sold out. Well done, Burlington.
Great to have all of you folks watching on the stream, though, as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're the real G's.
Zenge starting another attack. Haji skipping, tackled away. Good work from Rhodes. Garcia.
Oh, unlucky. It was a good recovery.
Haji had gotten back into the picture. Garcia is able to pick it from him. Frostland took a whack from Threadgold after releasing it. Some space in the wide areas for Pathfinder. They're slowed for now.
And that's what Vermont will have intended to do, is to say, if you're going to get further up the field.
Citrone across. There's Fisher in the right spot. Reed Fisher, perfect position.
You're going to have to go wide and down the channels. They don't want to get beat in the middle.
That was an important spot for Reed Fisher to be. You could see Ribeiro was looming on the back posts.
So far, he's got my vote for man of the match. Fisher.
The assists.
Yeah.
Big defensive play.
Well, he's just been so consistent, too. Tenacious.
Look at him run all the way out there.
Right.
He wanted to play that quickly. I love the energy of this guy.
He's focused. I like this guy's mentality.
There's some emotion to him,
exactly.
too, right?
He enjoys this, too. You can see it.
Smile on his face.
Sometimes players, it looks like it's a little bit of a job, you know.
Reed Fisher has been as impressive as you would expect. This rising sophomore from San Diego State. Scored 1 goal for the Aztecs. Still looking for his firsts for the green.
I got a feeling he's going to get one this season.
Yeah, with him, Drexler, DA, those big boys.
Yeah, put the mortgage on it.
On those set pieces, man, that is a weapon.
Yeah.
There's Sam Layton. DA begging for the ball, gets it from Drexler. Zenge clips it nicely over the top of Castro. That
awkward.
Almost skipping ball that Nestuda plucked on the short hop. And Castillo does well. Zangi. Inside the final 10 minutes of regulation, I would imagine some stoppage time as well. And the green creeping towards a big 3-point victory. It hasn't been the prettiest today, but they're in the spot to win it.
And now we've got fresh legs coming on in Comby as well.
He's a dangerous player on the wing.
Remind me, is it Comby or Combe?
Comby.
Comby, okay.
You got it.
Yeah.
Haji had lost the ball, and he commits the foul, tackling Fraslin. Comby was an original member of Vermont Green back in 2021.
Bagged a couple, I'm pretty sure, too.
Sure did. Originally started his career at Akron. Has been a reserve for the University of Vermont the last few seasons. He's picked up an assist in the early season, appearing off the bench for the second time today. Yet to enter still. He's made 1 start, Comby. A change also coming for the visitors. But in the meantime, this free kick from Christian Bach.
It's a dangerous ball.
Looked like Layton was the one to meet it for the green. Drexler also there. Now Ribeiro. Another floating ball. Staying put. It's the equalizer. Lute was late to come get it. And Frostlin there to finish. We're tied at 1. Well, the danger of never extending the lead right there. Can Pathfinder steal the points from the green again?
Yeah, let's take another look, too, because I don't really know if Lute has any good. Yeah, there's nothing he can complain about. He goes up and he gets his hands on it, but he loses the ball. Just going to have to shake that one off.
Well, now we're going to see what this team's made of early in this season, Matt. You're chasing a couple of points here. It would really hurt to drop points at home this early in the season.
Got roughly about 10 minutes.
And the change for Pathfinder will go through. It is the goal scorer, Fraslin, to exit, while Vermont Green have pulled Comby from the sideline. So no Comby to enter. They stick with Castro, Haji, and Zangi in the attacking midfield. A miscommunication there between Haji and Zangi.
Now we're going to see whether Vermont is going to rue those missed chances from earlier.
There were a handful.
The longer it stays, 1-0, you start getting into this stage of the match, it feels like a hot potato, that ball at that point. You don't want to be the one to lose it in a dangerous area. The nerves start to get worse.
Oh, yeah. You could see it even there with Vermont trying to put the ball back in play. They had a couple balls out on the field.
Yeah, you start second-guessing a little bit.
That's the first goal this team's allowed all year. How will they respond? Drexler trying to organize things. Can he and Fisher make an impact from the back? And D.A. Castro for Layton. I'm looking at Zach Zangi to be a difference maker here. What can Zangi produce? Haji flicks it to him. Zangi on the run. He's got Threadgold behind him for support. Instead, it's Haji. Haji searching. Layton returns it wide. Threadgold. The green quickly turning the wrench, turning the screw. Layton, numbers pooling at the back post. Layton, out comes Nestuda, and he handles it well. Almost spilled it, just a bit of a bobble. But now he will kill that clock. Laid off Ribeiro. He's sending that one over the top. And Lute does come to claim it eventually. Out to Castillo. Leibovitz couldn't get the flick intended for Zangi.
I'd like to see him a little bit more on the ball. I can't quite get a reading of his game yet. But I'd like to see him maybe drop in if he needs to and, drag a defender with him. Sometimes, that's not necessarily the best part of your
Castro, that's wonderful. Here's Haji in space. Haji, Zangi over the bar all the way. Leibovitz was asking for it. That was an excellent switch of the field from Castro. And now down at the back, Ofori goes to grounds.
Haji putting it on a plate. At that point, you really do need to actually keep the ball down.
Maybe some tired legs from Zenge.
Yeah, it's hot out there. And so let's take another look here. Great switch of the field. Good touch from Haji, settles it. Yeah, you got to do a lot better than that there. At least test the keeper.
Let's see the character of this Vermont Green squad. With that clock winding down, do they have a go-ahead? Layton battling for it amongst a sea of Los Lobos. Here goes Castillo. Diego Castillo, so dangerous. Early ball. It's Leibovitz. Oh, what a save! Catalin Nestuda maybe saves the point for Pathfinder. A one-on-one chance against Jacob Leibovitz, and he can't put it home.
It's a reaching touch. I thought it was going to get a little too ahead, and then I saw him get the touch, and credit to him. I thought he did a decent job. Maybe put a little bit more pace on it, but that is outstanding goalkeeping.
Green working quickly. Zengay to take it. Nestuda standing strong towards Fisher. Away from him. Haji comes to claim it, and he loses out. Fisher commits the foul.
Professional foul.
Working hard to win the ball back.
Smart player, man. I really, really like that guy's mentality. Good decision making.
See the frustration on his face as much as anybody that the Green have surrendered this lead. Yeah, Pathfinder just going to play everything long now. Vandenberg. And Castillo didn't quite get that right. He's able to keep that in play, but now Castillo went tumbling down into the boundary.
And it looks like he might have hit one of those posts, too.
Well, he took a hard foul on Castillo, who's been one of the really bright Green players. I hope Castillo's okay. He's been adventurous down the left side, showing solid form with his ability to put the ball across. Castillo does climb to his feet.
There we go. That's good to see.
And we're waiting to see just how much stoppage time is added.
I'm going to guess 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 or 4. There have been some substitutions.
Yeah, there's been subs.
One goal.
A little injury there, or at least some stoppage.
Can Pathfinder keep it? It's Leighton who gets it clear for the Green. Defending just for a point now. Into the 90th minute.
It's almost like a battle of chicken at this point. I'm kind of looking at Haji right now and thinking, can you cheat up a little bit, anticipating that, we'll win the ball and then you will be in a very dangerous area.
Zengay unable to win it back.
4 minutes.
There is Drexler. So what can the Green do in these final 4 minutes? Zengay trying to spin his way through traffic. Couldn't keep it. The Green need the ball right now.
Yeah.
Pathfinder doing a great work at killing clock. And Fisher just blasts it towards Leibovitz, who does come to win the ball out of the air, but he gives up a throwing. Well, this, at the moment, would be a disappointing result for Vermont Green side. It would be dropped points early in the year. Of course, plenty more summer to make these points up. And this Pathfinder side, they did finish 4th last year behind the big 3 in the Northeast Division that we've talked at length about. And they've been well organized today. They've been able to defend with good energy.
That's good man marking. I was looking to see if he had any options when he picked his head up, and it looked like it was just green on black.
Threadgold. Green need to push it forward in a hurry. Zengay couldn't return it for him. And now Drexler has work to do, shields it nicely, and Lute claims it. Musa Ndiaye.
What a ball. What a ball.
Castro's on it. Jackson Castro on the move. Castro saved again. Nestuda. He's been the man of the match, no doubt.
For Pathfinder, absolutely. I was certain that was going in.
Jackson Castro flying up the wing.
Taking another look at this.
On the dart from Ndiaye. And a flailing save. The clock has been stopped as Zengay prepares this corner. There's a Pathfinder player down well behind the play. And now there's Ofori down in the penalty area as well, just being stretched out. He's been stretching that hamstring for a bit. That is...
Looks like he's holding his ankle, though.
An obvious cramp, but I was talking to Forey. I'm not sure down behind the play.
Yes. This pass just to get over the top, but it's the touch, that touch right there. Because if he goes kind of straight, then he doesn't get this shot off. The defender gets back.
Vermont Green athletic trainer Kate Harney now out to look at the injured Pathfinder player. We will bring in Justin Suarez, a defender who plays collegiately for Felician. An apparent ankle injury for actually one of the substitutes, David Citrone. He'd been hobbled for a bit. And again, the official has stopped his watch, which means no time has come off the clock since the shot from Castro.
Now can we blow the proverbial roof off of this?
I think it would blow the literal roof off.
Yeah.
Numbers forward for the Green. Do they have a winner? They've scored once off a corner today. Zenge's in swinger. Good ball. Punched away. Castillo whipped it back across. Castro brings it down. Leaves for Zenge. Still Vermont pressing forward. Layton. Zenge tries to return it. Castro. He kept it in, and he earned a corner. Castro's effort, his recent run, that one a great stretch. A set piece coming again for the Green. Where are you at, Reed Fisher? Sjor Drexler. Do you have a moment in you? Zenge's corner on the way. And it's punched away again from Drexler. Castillo again nods it forward, but how about the play
Good goalkeeping
of Nestuda?
Really commanding goalkeeping in that box.
And you contrast that just a bit to the goal that Pathfinder scored where Lute was just a half second cautious. That's potentially the difference. But again, here come the Green. Castillo, Leibovitz, Zangi. Oh, the balance. Zangi still dragged. He was still going, and the referee's blown his whistle. Zangi wants to play it quickly. He does so. Layton. And again, the referee stops the play.
They're lucky because they just lost the ball.
Well, I'm surprised the official stopped it initially. I thought Zangi was still on his feet moving.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a much better chance if he would have just played on.
Some strength from Zenge. The whistle comes when it looked like he was stumbling. A ferocious march forward from Zenge.
It's too far for the shot.
Right. You're trying to clip something here.
I'm curious if he's going to try, maybe to go towards that back of the wall.
It's bobbled, it's loose, and it's put up and over a Forey. A monster clearance. For the first time, Nestuda, a bit of just uneasiness. Ever so slightly wavering. And maybe the final chance for the Green. Look at a
bodies.
Forey barely getting it away from Leibovitz.
But again, goalkeeper just causing havoc in there, making sure that he's at least involved or getting on it. I don't like it when goalkeepers kind of just stand on their line and assume that everyone else is going to take care of it.
Forey's frustrated by something. Looks like he was almost having a go at the ref. He's been great back there as well. He and Vandenberg have been a great duo.
Yeah, they've had a good game.
Still time remains. Do the Green have one more chance for the winner? Nestuda into the midfield. Layton has to hurry. Haji lets the ball travel. Layton making the run towards the corner. And Vandenberg wins it. The Green looking to maybe get one final corner kick. Still no whistle. Drexler's going forward. Castro. Castro whips it over Leibovitz. And Nestuda again sure-handed. Pathfinder almost there to their point on the road against one of the league's top sides. A home opener for Vermont Green that
got to be time.
Has so far fallen just short. And it is a draw. 1-1 the final. Tituan Fraslin, the equalizer for Pathfinder. And Matt, aside today for Vermont Green where you dominate most of the action, but you're unable to capture the full 3 points. It's one of those where it's a great day of celebration. We've talked about it. It's a really happy experience to be back here at one of our favorite places, but unable to get the full 3 points. Just a bit of a sour taste in the mouth.
Yeah, I think it was actually a fairly even match. It's almost each team kind of traded 10, 15 minutes of better form than the other, you know. But I think I would still give Vermont the edge on the actual chances created, the quality of them, versus what, you know, Pathfinder had. And that's kind of a good problem if you think about it, because on any other day, you put away maybe one more of those shots, those chances. The ones that were missed were they're technically easier shots to maybe keep low next time. And that's something you can kind of just, as your confidence grows, you can work on it. And then next thing you know, you score 2 goals instead of 1 in this instance.
A 1-1 final, so they share the points in the home opener from Virtue Fields. Pathfinder get their first point of the season, while Vermont Green get to 7 points. They now have 2 wins and a draw on their record. Matt, we're back Tuesday. Quick turnaround. I'll see you then.
See you then, sir.
All right, that will do it for us today from Burlington. For our entire production crew, my partner Matt Montel, I'm Brian McLaughlin. Talk to you on Tuesday when Vermont Green returns home looking to get back in the win column. They'll battle with Black Rock FC for the second time in a week. So we'll talk to you on Tuesday. Thank you, everybody who joined us today for our live cast from Virtue Field. It's Vermont Green FC and Pathfinder 1-1. You've been watching Vermont Green FC Soccer.
Have solar. When we decided that we were going to use a commercial company instead of doing it ourselves, which was an option, I did research on SunCommon, because I don't know that I trust lots of solar power companies. And you know, it's a big project. There's so many things that can go wrong. I wanted a company that I felt good about.